Going all in isn't just a choice that I made one time or that you can make one time. Going all in is an attitude. It's saying, man, I'm gonna live a lifestyle of that. Everything that I have, that God has given me, I'm gonna send right back to Him. Recently bought a Prius, and it's the worst decision I've ever made in my life. Like financially, yes, but like it's great, like whatever, but it's like, it's not fun to drive. It's terrible. I hate it. Other Jeep drivers, they'll like wave at each other. So if a Jeep passes a Jeep, they'll like, hey, how you doing? And like people do that to me in like the Prius, and I hate it so much. It's like, don't talk to me. I know, like I would not hang out with you at a party and you're waving at me. It's really upsetting. I hate owning a Prius is what I'm trying to tell you. It's kind of fun because like I'm right in the middle of my story. Like this isn't like, hey, this happened a long time ago, and so I have all the answers and I've had to process it. But I really feel like in the midst of this story, it's all like fresh and real. And so that for me is awesome. It's really ignited kind of my relationship with God and just the way that I think about how He connects with me and how I can connect with Him. About 7 years ago, I got married. I have a wife. She's awesome, Michelle. And I have 2 awesome kids. So when my wife and I got married, we decided we were going to, no matter what it was that we were called to, whatever it was that we felt like God was telling us to do, we were gonna go all in no matter what. We were gonna take every resource that we had available, everything we could leverage, and we would be like, man, we're gonna chase after what God has for us and for our family. About 5 years ago, we felt like God was telling us we need to move to Mexico. And it was kind of a long story. We Googled jobs, and we felt like there was one city we were supposed to hang out in, and it was super exciting. And then we were also ignorant. We had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. It was easy to say, but the follow-up of that, like the execution of that was really, really tough. And so we were really excited about it, but then, you know, the stresses of actually paying money to people to be all in and actually choosing to live different places and the paperwork, and there was just a lot of logistical nitty-gritty details that we weren't ready for. Year 3, we feel like God is calling us to come back to the States to work with students. And so we had gone all in this place in Mexico for 3 years, built those relationships, built systems, built friendships, built memories, and then we were feeling like, yep, it's time for a change again. God has something new for us. We packed up and we moved to the States and started working with students. And that's kind of like chapter 2, right? It's kind of like, so chapter 2 was us saying, okay, we went all in Mexico. What does it look like now in my life to go all in our family's life to go all in the States and to reach students? And so everything went back on the table, right? And so the car that we drove was in the equation of, okay, well, let's get a minivan so that we can transport more students. And so our finances, we have always given generously to the church, but we started giving even more generously above and beyond to local organizations that were impacting students because we wanted to be a part of the culture where we were. So we went in all in financially. We went all in with our house, with our furniture, the way that we decorated our house, the number of seats that we had available in our living room, how much money we spent on groceries so that we could use that money other places. So we cut back a lot on grocery money so that we could spend more money giving to local organizations that were impacting students. And so just absolutely went all in with everything that we possibly could. And God really blessed that. So God showed up in amazing ways. So that was about 2 years ago. And God gave us an amazing community, and He gave us more financial resources than we could ask for or that we've ever asked for. He's given us blessings literally of all kinds, just anything that we have ever needed, God has just always provided. And I think that's kind of one of the big benefits of living in an all-in lifestyle is knowing that God is faithful and He is going to have your back no matter what. So yes, that's where I was at. We were at that about 6 months ago. If you had asked me, Jason, like, so where does God want you? What should you be working on? What's your family mission? I would have had the answers to all of those questions, and I would be able to tell you I'm exactly where I believe that God wants me. And then about 4 months ago, God showed up again, and everything changed. Now we're at this point where we feel like God is calling us to a different city in the States, calling us to a different age group of students. So we used to work with middle school and high school students, and now we feel like God is calling us to work with college students. And so now we're doing this painful thing where we're putting everything back on the table. Like we had just got to the spot where we are comfortable with everything where it was. So we were comfortable with the house we were in. We were comfortable with the current sacrifices we were making. We were comfortable with the stresses of our life. We felt like God was calling us somewhere else, and so we had to put all these things kind of back on the table, and we had to decide, okay, how are we gonna go all in? How am I gonna take my finances and go all in to where I need to be? How am I gonna take my my job or my family, or how am I gonna go all in with the vehicles that I'm driving? Again, everything had to go back on the table, and that's kind of the season that we're living in right now. This season of, cutting ties, and the season of redistributing things and reallocating things to where we feel like God is going to be able to use them the most. So on one hand, it's like, I know God is faithful. On the other hand, it's like, it's really tough to give up the comfortable life to go all in, even if we're pretty sure it's what God wants us to do. It's not just a one-time decision, it's a lifestyle. It's like every single day, am I willing to take one more step closer? Every single day, am I willing to look for another step to take closer? Am I willing to break something that, a habit maybe, or a rhythm that isn't honoring to God and isn't kind of taking me to the next level? So I would say that it's not just a one-time thing, it's a lifestyle thing. But I'll also say that it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding. I'll say the best part of my day is lying down in bed at night exhausted, thinking about, man, there was nothing else I could have done for God better. Now, I'm not saying it happens every day because I'm not perfect, but those few days, man, just knowing like, I don't think I could have done anything better. I think I gave it my 100%. That feels really, really good. Every single person, I believe, has a unique characteristic of God inside of them. So I think that I'm God's favorite, but I think I'm God's favorite in a unique way that God can reveal to the world one tiny piece about himself through me. That's an amazing feeling. That's such a sense of purpose. And so for each student leader, everyone, each person, I believe that God can reveal himself uniquely through you as an individual. And I think that is the biggest reason why it's worth it to go all in. It's worth it to live a lifestyle that's saying, I'm gonna give everything to God so that I can reveal him as best as possible through my life. That's worth everything. That's worth all the exhaustion, all the headaches. That's worth it all. My name is Jason, and this is my story.